Yes, good afternoon, good morning, good evening. Welcome back to Football Heritage TV. Wherever you are in the world, whoever you are, wherever you're from, you are more than welcome. Welcome to the Premier League Review Show. But before we get into the Premier League Review Show, just to announce that Charlie and I will be doing a show every day together at 3 p.m. from tomorrow called Football in 60, where we talk about all things football. It could be the games from the night before. It could be managerial sackings, transfers, any breaking news, anything we want to bitch and moan about in the world of football. And we'll cover absolutely everything every day at 3 p.m. Charlie, first of all, thank you for agreeing to do that. Second of all, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. Yeah, everything's good. I was disappointed on Saturday night to throw it away at the end, but yeah, Champions League is back. We're back in the big time again. Obviously, you boys are there as well. So yeah, no, mate, not too much to complain about, really. All good.
Good. Well, we can go through Champions League starting from tomorrow. Obviously, both our clubs in action this week. So, Spurs back at the big boy table. We're now better than Chelsea, above you in the league for the time being anyway. It's all happening. Look, let's, first of all, everybody in the chat, welcome. Get your comments in. Tell us about who did you like this weekend? Who didn't you like? Who's shocked you? Who's shocked you in a good way, in a bad way? Is Erling Haaland ever going to stop scoring goals in a football match? We'll talk about it all. But it will be 60 minutes every day. So we will pack as much in as possible. Charlie, let's start. Let's start with Arsenal versus Nottingham Forest. You can see there, Arsenal versus Nottingham Forest. A comfortable, very comfortable 3-0 win. What did you make of Arsenal? What did you make of Ange Postecoglou's first game as Nottingham Forest manager? Talk to me.
Yeah, I mean, look, Arsenal looked good, to be honest. I expected them to win that game regardless of whether it was Ange in charge or Nuno. But the big thing with Arsenal this season is they can make changes, and the players they've got coming in are really good players.
Yeah.
You don't play Declan Rice, and it was okay to beat a Nottingham Forest team. Look, people can say what they want about Noni Madueke. It's better than what they had. When Bukayo Saka was out last season, they didn't really have anyone. Madueke on the right-hand side is a decent player. Eze coming in, good player. This is the difference we're talking about now with Arsenal, where when key players were out last season, it was a problem. I now look at the squad for Arsenal, and I'm looking at it, I'm thinking, right, okay, if players are missing, they've got good enough options to come into the team where it's not a huge issue. And that for me is what I don't say that Arsenal are favourites to win the league, but they can make changes against a team that finished in the top 6, top 7 last season, not start what would be deemed regular players, and have a comfortable afternoon. I was impressed by them, but it was nothing that I wasn't expecting to see from them. And in regards to Forest, I think they've got problems this season. I'll be honest, Savva. I think it's one of them where
hang on. They can't have problems, Charlie. Wolfie's assured everyone. Europa League.
Well, he's going to be looking very stupid at the end of the season. They overachieved last season massively. We know that. We've seen teams have a season where they put themselves up there, and then it can be difficult to follow it up. I just look at Forest and I think the style of football under Nuno got worked out in the last 6 weeks of the season. They fell off a cliff and whatnot. They've then gone for a polar opposite from a tactical and a footballing standpoint in Postecoglou. And I just don't really know what Forest are. I don't really know where they're going. They'll win some games and they'll have good moments, but they'll suffer a lot of losses and have some bad moments as well. So I just think Forest are a bit of a social experiment. I think Marinakis, I appreciate an owner having big ambitions. I just think he looks at Forest and thinks they're way bigger than they actually are.
I agree. Don't you think the strange thing, like when I watched Forest at the weekend, first of all, as a Spurs fan who's watched Ange Postecoglou teams play, we heard the line, Forest want a more entertaining brand of football. Well, entertaining brand is kind of in the eye of the beholder, Charlie, because scoring a lot of goals, sure. Conceding a lot of goals, that's not entertaining. So for me, I don't understand it. They had Nuno who got them, what would they finish, 7th?
Seventh, they finished 7th, yeah.
he gets them finished 7th. They look, and I hated it because of Wolfie, but they looked organised. They looked strong, defensively capable. And they've kind of, it's almost as though they've ripped all of that up after 1 year of doing well and said, we want to be X, Y, Z. We want to be up there. And I feel like this might be the old adage of running before you can walk.
Yeah, but look at the signings they've made, Savva, right? Once again, a lot of players have come in. And then you look at decisions being made. You spend 37.5 million quid on Amari Hutchinson, club record signing, doesn't even make the Europa League squad. Like, it's things like that where you're just like, well, what is going on here? They've signed about 4 or 5 wingers, a load of midfielders and whatnot. And look, I'm not sitting here, slagging a club off for signing a load of players because my club does it every summer. But the point is that it's very destabilizing. Now, were those players signed for Nuno? Or were those players signed for Postecoglou, knowing they were going to make a managerial change? So whose players really were they? Because if they were signed for Nuno and Ange has come in now and they're playing a totally different style of football, that could be quite problematic. But I would imagine that given they reportedly were speaking to Ange back in August, that maybe those players were signed with him in mind, knowing that this relationship was irreparable between Edu and Nuno or whatever. But Forest are just one thing with Forest, right? For good or for bad, they won't be boring this season.
They won't, but I just worry about them. And listen, let's be fair.
Well, it won't go down or anything.
I've got nothing I don't like about Nottingham Forest, right? For me, they were always, okay, yeah, I like Forest. Yeah, come back up, brother. Obviously, the Wolfie factor really does change a few bits. But it's all love. We love you, Wolfie, wherever you are. But I just feel like if they don't finish in the top 7 again this year, then that's a sign that they've gone backwards. And then you wonder, what was all the money and the managerial change for? Now, that can be said of many clubs. That could be said of my club. We've changed manager. However, for our manager to do worse than last season would mean we get relegated. So I can pretty much bet my bottom dollar that Tottenham are not going down this year. But when I watched them, going back to the game, Charlie, when I watched the game, we knew Arsenal looked strong. They looked solid. They're able to have people like Declan Rice sitting on the bench where they would never have done that before. But Forest, I just didn't know what they were. And it wasn't just this game. This season when I've watched, I don't know what they are anymore. It's like they've come away from all of the beliefs that made them a solid team. What are they?
I don't know. It's a good question. Obviously, you weren't going to get any sort of Ange imprint on that Forest team for that game on Saturday because he literally just walked through the door. But they're caught in two minds right now. They've literally come from a season and a pre-season of playing with Nuno, low possession, but effective when they're on the ball and whatnot. And now they've got to do a complete 360 on that and go to a style of football which is, I mean, it's not. It's totally different, and it's one that team is going to take. It's going to take a while for them to get used to that. And Postecoglou hasn't got enough time on the training pitch. And the Thursday-Sunday schedule, by the way, is tough. It's a lot tougher. It's a lot tougher than Wednesday, Saturday, or Tuesday, Saturday. Thursday, Sunday is difficult. Look, I know you did it last season, obviously. We did it last season with the Conference League. It was obviously a bit different, but it's still Thursday, Sunday. That Thursday, Sunday schedule is hard. New manager coming in, you want time on the training pitch. He's had no pre-season. With 2 games a week, the League Cup starts next week as well and whatnot. There's going to be very little time to actually get ideas across on the training pitch, which is why I always find managerial changes strange at a start of a season, because you're sort of thinking, well, if that was the case, why did you just not give the guy the pre-season to at least give him a better chance? You've sacked him, what, 3 games in? What is the point in that? You knew the writing was on the wall in the summer. So why, like, you're putting the new manager on the back foot straight away.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And this is what this is the problem that Ange had last year. It was managing 2 games a week. He couldn't do it. And we'll see whether he can, Nottingham Forest. But last word, just really, really quickly. Arsenal do I mean, neither of us
They
like
look good.
Arsenal, right? But they
They
look good.
mate. They do look good.
They do look good. And I'm going to say it. And I'm going to ask everyone in the chat to join in with this. I'm going to ask Charlie a question. I want you lot to answer as well. How many Premier League goals will Victor Gyökeres get? Because there's a lot of people, you know what it's like, Charlie. People watch a player for 2 games at a new club and go, oh my God, he's rubbish.
Oh, mate,
I reckon the bloke gets 22, 23 Premier League goals.
I think he'll probably get. I think he'll get between 18 to 20.
Okay.
For me, if I was being a bit more broader, I'd go 16 to 20. But I think he's somewhere between that. I could, 18, 20 goals. I think, providing he stays fit, obviously.
Of course. Yeah. We're talking about a 38 game season. If he plays 38 games, I think he gets 20 goals.
I think you're looking in around that 18 to 20 goal mark for the Premier League. And maybe you might get 25 in all comps, maybe push 30 in all competitions, potentially, how far they go in cups and whatnot. So, look, Arsenal have got all the ingredients. They've got all the pieces. There's no excuses this season. That's it. There's nothing. They've got everything.
I completely agree. Listen, I watch a lot of the Arsenal content. Obviously, people who are my mates and within the stratosphere, you know, Dan Potts' channel, Lee Gunner's channel. And most of the creators, not all of them, most of the creators have told us that's what we need. We can't win the league because we don't have a striker. Well, you've just gone and signed one of the deadliest strikers in Europe. Win the league. I don't think they will, but they do look good. I'll give them their dues. Let us know in the chat. Andy thinks that's 20 to 25 for Gyökeres. Lord Rodney's gone the complete other way and gone with 12. Well, listen, he's a quarter of the way to the 12 already.
Yeah, he's got 3, hasn't he? Yeah.
3. He's got 3 and 4. John Cena's gone with 27 league goals.
Wow.
Tim has gone with 2.
He's got 3 already, so yeah.
Angus, he's Arsenal. He's gone with 25 to 30. Listen, Arsenal will create chances. So he could 25 goals. 24 with no injuries, 24, 15 excluding penalties. I like it when people can't just answer the question, you know. We always got
so 15 goals or the penalties are still goals, guys. It's okay. You know, we don't have to do this penalties, but there's a weird stigma around penalties. It's almost like they don't count. Do
you know what there is? When players miss a penalty, we all go, gutted. Why gutted then? I thought they don't count. Like they don't. They don't count.
Mate, do you know what's mad, right? Like a penalty is harder to score than like a 5-yard tap in on the goal line. But no one moans about tap-ins. But the penalty, but 4 or 5 of them goals were penalties. So how good really is he? It's weird.
And listen, if you're your team's penalty taker, you're the team's penalty taker for a reason. Look, let's move on. I don't want to go in order. I feel like we've got to go to the obvious game next, which is the Manchester derby.
Oh yeah.
This is so much to talk about, not just from the game point of view, but the comments which are dominating from Ruben Amorim afterwards. First of all, what did you make of the game? It looked like, obviously, you had the whole Ricky Hatton thing, rest in peace, in the morning. A lot of the City players talked about it pre-match, and then Pep Guardiola was getting quite emotional. And it looked like City were massively up for this. Were you impressed with City yesterday? Is it that they were good? Were United poor? Talk to me about the game.
I think both things can be true. City were good yesterday. United was shocking as well. Both things can be true. In regard to that, I was impressed with City in terms of, I thought the wide players were good. I looked at that front line yesterday before kickoff. Haaland obviously outstanding, as we know. Doku, very inconsistent hit and miss, and Phil Foden has been poor for 18 months. So I looked at that front line and I was like, other than Haaland, how much is there really in there? But Doku ended up having a very good game, and Foden was good as well. I was impressed with City in terms of their ability on the counter-attack, how quickly they broke at times, how lethal they were in the final third. I felt they defended reasonably well as well. Obviously, they didn't have an awful lot to deal with. I felt Donnarumma had a very solid debut, looked really good. Brilliant save to deny Mbeumo in the second half. But
he's a top keeper, though, isn't he? He is.
But this is what I mean, right? And when people say oh, he's not like a Pep Guardiola goalkeeper. I think I mentioned it on commentary yesterday, and I've always thought this. Your main thing as a goalkeeper is, can you keep the ball out the back of the net? I don't care about anything else. Don't hit me with this, oh yeah, but he doesn't suit the style of play.
Yeah.
I don't want my goalkeeper to be suiting a style of play. I want my goalkeeper to be keeping the ball out the back of the net and be commanding from set pieces and crosses. Those are the two most important things. As a goalkeeper, you should be able to pass a football anyway. So I don't get it when people sort of say, oh yeah, but Donnarumma, oh, he's not that good at his feet or whatever. I don't care.
The main thing that counts is like yesterday when that shot from Mbeumo. Was it Mbeumo?
Yeah, it was. He's a full stretch, unreal save. Yeah.
Superb. And what he does very well for a big guy, he comes out very quickly out of his box. He's very
down quickly as well.
Yeah. And I think, listen, I say this every year, but I think City will still be there or thereabouts. I think everyone's seen they lost 2 games early on, but yesterday it looked like Rodri again. Yeah, a couple of misplaced passes, but he makes such a big difference. And Foden, people writing off this man. Foden's a wonderful footballer, and if he can get back to where he was the season before last, brilliant. But the player I want to talk about just really quickly, Charlie, what I want to talk about is Doku. For me, in the last couple of years, I think Doku's getting better and better and better. And the thing that's always been at him is end product. I think he's getting really, really good. I think he's going to be a top winger, that boy. What do you make of him?
Yesterday, he was very good, involved in both goals. He plays the ball through for Haaland in the second half, and he does that really good skill in the first half, and then obviously he plays it for Foden. The thing with Doku, the talent's always been there. The ability's there when he was coming through at Rennes. This is a very, very good footballer. Yeah. But like with a lot of wide players at Chelsea, wide players at City as well, you don't know what version of that player you're going to get each week.
Exactly.
So I look at Man City, and if Doku is on his game, brilliant. If Foden's on his game, brilliant. If Savio is on his game, great. But right now, surrounding those players is a lot of inconsistencies. You can't rely on a Doku to give you a 7, 8 out of 10 most weeks. He'll play like that against United, goes to the Emirates next weekend. Will he produce a similar level of performance at the Emirates? I don't know. He's capable of doing it, but the evidence is that he probably won't, because there's a complete lack of consistency with a lot of these players. It's not about the talent, it's about producing on a consistent basis. And that would be my one worry for City, is that maybe too many players in the final third lack consistency.
Yeah. Well, before we move on to Man United, which is the real conversation here, right? Let's talk about somebody that doesn't lack consistency, has never lacked consistency. And somebody said to me last night that Erling Haaland wasn't signed by Man City. He was bought from a factory. Like, he's literally like a cyborg. By the way, yesterday, I thought he really showed a few people up, like people who say he's not a good player. I thought his hold up was brilliant. His passing was very good. His link up was very good.
His stint at centre back was great.
When he's through on goal, Charlie, he is through on goal, he just makes it look so easy, doesn't he? Would you bet against him being the top Premier League goal scorer this season?
No, of course you wouldn't. You just don't. I've never seen someone with such an insatiable appetite for scoring goals. Yeah. I just haven't. We've seen top centre forwards and top strikers over the years in the Premier League and around Europe and whatnot. I've not seen anyone who just loves scoring goals so much and just has such a big appetite for it and scores all different types of goals and doesn't get bored of it. You know, people talk about Haaland, oh, he's not a complete player. Oh, he doesn't do this and that. I don't care. Give him the ball in the positions and he'll score. That's all I want my striker to do. I don't need, if my striker can hold up play, link play, do this and do that, that's a bonus. But I'd sack all that off for my striker to be in the right place at the right time, create his own chances, and with 9 chances out of 10, he scores it. He scores. This is the most important thing right now. We're moving away from, like, people are talking about, oh, you need fluid players in the front line. You need this, you need that. You know, you need strikers that can drop deep. You need strikers that can link play. You need this or whatever. What happened to just sticking the ball in the back of the net when you get the chance? That's all I want from a striker. I don't need my striker having 50, 60, 70, 80 touches. Give my striker 3 touches, and if he scores 3 goals, that's all I need. And that's exactly what he is.
Do you know, in his Man City career, so yesterday was his 150th game for Man City, right? He scored 129 in 150.
Yeah, it's
right?
disgusting,
Now,
isn't it? Yeah.
What I find funny about football fans of today is, in any other era, you go, what? He got 129, 150. You go, oh my God. With Haaland, everyone's trying to find a weakness. I don't care. If my striker scores 129 in 150, I am not complaining, Charlie, about anything at all. 129 and 150. And what's worrying is, you could probably say, is he even in his peak yet at the age of, what is he, 20?
24, 25?
He's just turned 25.
Yeah, mate,
right?
This is the mad thing, right? I don't even think we've seen the best of this guy.
No, I don't.
And that's frightening for everyone other than Man City and Norway fans. That's frightening, for the fact that we arguably haven't seen the best of this guy. And this guy is breaking every goal-scoring record going. I can't remember a player where I'm so certain when they get a chance they're going to score. But there's been a few that you would be, you know, Cristiano Ronaldo and whatnot. There's been a few, but I can't remember one really where I'm so certain he's going to score every time he gets an opportunity. Like, it's what he does
what his
is
record is
ridiculous.
His strike rate for Man City is a goal 0.86 is his goal scoring rate.
What,
most
per 90?
strikers,
Per 90.
Yeah, 0.86. Right? Do you know the average in the Premier League for strikers?
Like what, 0.4 or something? 0.34?
0.33. Right?
Yeah.
This man's at 0.86, and people going, yeah, but if he's not scoring, he doesn't. Whoa, his hold up play and link up play was brilliant yesterday. Anyway, let's move to Man United. By the way, I am saying Erling Haaland will be the Premier League top goal scorer, depending on injuries. He is a cyborg, the boy. Let's talk Man United, Charlie, because the strange thing is, for me, when I was at school, college, even probably the 10 years after that, it was so annoying. Man United won everything. Man United were a beast. Man United just won and won and won. And now they're the complete opposite. And they are, Roy Keane said it yesterday, this is a very average football team now. I'm going to start off by asking you this question. Ruben Amorim is someone I stuck up for when he first came over. And I said, this is a good coach. Give him time. I was wrong, because this guy, for me, is Ange Postecoglou in the sense of he has one way of playing and he refuses to adapt. And Charlie, for me, this is going to be his own downfall.
Mate, he's made a rod for his own back. He comes out yesterday, I'm not changing. We're going to play like this, and that's that. I would just look at that and think, this is not a small sample of games now. This is 31 Premier League games. So he's almost been here for a whole season's worth of games in the league. He's on a point per game. Hasn't even won 2 games back-to-back in the Premier League. The team look absolutely horrific. The team look terrible. And he does nothing about it. Just doesn't change it. Bruno Fernandes cannot play in a midfield too. He is a number 10 in that system. Plays Fernandes 90 minutes, week in, week out, in a midfield too. Ill discipline, loses Foden, his runner for the first goal. I just look at Amorim, I just think, what are you? Why are you so married to this system? How much more evidence do you need? This is not working, and this is not going to work. So why do you do the same thing every single game, same system, and expect anything different? You know what you're going to get from Amorim? The back five. He'll change one player in the back five as a sub every game.
Mm-hmm.
I just
Let me show you.
I just don't understand it, mate. I just don't get what he's doing. I didn't think it would be possible to get a worse manager for Man United than Eric Ten Hag towards the end. This guy, cleared him comfortably.
Data. Let me show you some data. But by the way, Machina Joe, listen, when you're saying blah, 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 where was Haaland last season?
Still got over 20 goals last season.
Haaland got 34 in 48 last season. Machina Joe, most strikers in the world, that would be their greatest season ever. And look, this is sorry, just to go back to the Haaland thing. This is where football fans are now. We've become so used to him scoring goals that him getting 34 goals in a campaign is considered
bad.
Where was he last year? Right?
Mad.
34 goals. Machina Joe, you support Everton, if I'm not wrong. When was the last time a striker at Everton hit 34 in all competitions? I
reckon it's Andy Gray.
I reckon it's either Tony Cottee or Andy Gray or Lineker or someone like that.
Yeah.
But look at what we do. We get top world-class players and we're going, where was he? Honestly, this is absolutely crazy. I'm going to find that stat in the background. But look, here's Ruben Amorim. This was just posted on Sky. Man United win percentages. Amorim has the worst win percentage of any permanent Man U manager since World War II. And I mean, look, let's be fair. Most of us won't remember McGuinness and O'Farrell and Busby, Sexton.
Yeah.
I know the names of Doherty and obviously Busby, but look at all the modern day managers. Look at Solskjaer, right? Who was absolutely hounded out. Look at Moyes, who was handed out. These guys are in the 50%. Ten Hag was hated. 54%.
Savva, this guy is the worst Man United manager in history. And it's not even deniable. The stats show it. And just in general, he's the worst manager in that club's history. Think about how mad that is, right? A club the size of Man United and the history they've got. This guy's the worst they've ever employed. I honestly can't believe how bad he's been. I thought, when you looked at him at Sporting Lisbon, he had the players for that system. He did really well in Portugal. He did well in the Champions League. But we have to be honest, the back three, I think, in modern football's dated. You look at teams or managers who've played a back three. Xabi Alonso, Nuno, and Antonio Conte are probably the three that spring to mind. They all don't play a back three anymore. Xabi Alonso don't play a back three at Real Madrid. Conte doesn't play back three at Napoli, and Nuno didn't play a back three at Forest. The back three is so easy to play against. How easy is it to play against the back three at United? It couldn't be easier. And I just don't understand why he sticks with it and why he thinks what he thinks is suddenly going to change and it's suddenly going to work. Because the players aren't good enough. He doesn't have the players to play the system, yet he still sticks with it and hoping that something's going to change.
Yeah. Utterly mad. I'll tell you what I'm hoping is going to change. Guys, we are 29 minutes. We're halfway through the show and the like button has not been tickled enough. We got 62 likes. There's nearly 300 of you in here. Can we please smash that like button? That is, we're talking about poor conversion rates. By the way,
conversion rate.
Well, yeah. Just before we go back to Ruben Amorim, I've just done some research in the background, Charlie, of Everton and goal scorers. Do you know, right? In Everton's history, right, the last person to score over 30 goals in all competitions, 30, not right, was Gary Lineker.
Yeah.
In 1986, he got 40 in all competitions, right? Before that, I'm just having a look. I don't think anybody else, Pickering, whoever F. Pickering is, there you go, Frederick Pickering in 1965 hit 37. So when you've got Machina Joe saying, where was Haaland last season? Twice since 1965, right? Everton have had a player that have scored more.
It's mad. It's mad.
It's utterly shambolic. And I like Machina Joe, but they are They are terrible opinions, my man. They are terrible.
That is poor.
Look, apparently the Man United board today have said that they're sticking by Ruben Amorim. Now,
the vote of confidence.
Is this admirable from Man United, or is this a move that could really push the Man United fans against them?
Mate, I think you almost have to say that. You're not going to because you're not going to come out and say, oh, he's in trouble, or we're going to bin him off. But mate, this is only going one way for me, and it's only been going one way for a while now.
Yeah,
I cannot see this getting any better. Sometimes when a manager comes in and you can see signs of improvement, you can see a bit of light at the end of the tunnel, that it's going in the right direction. I can't see any light at the end of the tunnel for Amorim. I can't see any signs of any improvement. The guy's been here for, over 30 league games.
Yeah.
They are not a single bit better now from when he walked through the door. That's unforgivable. They spent over £200 million on their attack, and they can't score any goals. The midfield gets walked through every single game. The defence is shambolic. The goalkeeping situation is awful. You're still playing Luke Shaw and Harry Maguire in 2025. Your best midfielder is Kobbie Mainoo, and he refuses to start him. Mainoo comes on yesterday, was comfortably the best midfield player for United, easily. I just don't understand what this guy's doing and what the plan is. How can the higher ups sit there and watch United week in, week out and think, yeah, this will get better, this will improve? This is not going to get any better. This is what this is. And as Jay Sims has said, I said it last season, Ten Hag won't last till Christmas. I can't see Amorim lasting until November at this rate.
Well, let's have a look at this. So this is Ruben Amorim. There's his managerial record. So I'm going to ask a question just to play devil's advocate, Charlie. Okay, I'm not saying I believe this, but I'm just going to play devil's advocate. Man United have been, whichever way we look at it, Man United have been a mess for many years. Yes, they've nicked the odd trophy, but it's not been settled, Charlie, right? It's not been, even in those years when they were winning trophies, there's not been a time where you thought, oh, this is a good United team, or, oh, they look organised, or everyone's happy at United. There's always been Pogba's not happy. This player's not happy. Sanchez isn't happy. Rashford isn't happy. Sancho isn't happy. Is this Ruben Amorim, or are there deep-rooted issues at Manchester United? So, for example, if they sacked Amorim now, and let's just pluck him out, Glasner, right? We all know Glasner, good coach, good manager. Man United bring in Glasner right now. Do we see an automatic uplift from where they are, or are there deep-rooted issues within that football club?
Oh, I think both things are true. I think Amorim is a massive problem there, but there's deep-rooted problems there as well, that a lot of those players, they've signed for big money on big wages, big contracts, and they aren't good enough. And that for me that's the biggest problem, Savva, is that the manager is out of his depth and looks totally clueless. And the players they've signed, they've not signed and addressed areas they needed to address. Yeah. You look at Man United, I'm not even a United fan. Everyone knew United needed a midfield player. They didn't sign one. They spent over £200 million on attackers and didn't address their biggest issue, which was midfield. They didn't go and get a top-class goalkeeper. I just don't understand it. There's deep-rooted problems at the football club in terms of the majority of that squad are not good enough to play for Manchester United. And then the manager is utterly clueless and nowhere near good enough. Yeah. So I'm
just playing devil's advocate, right? Because listen, I'm not sticking up for Amorim at all. I think it will be very interesting to see. I think inevitably he will go.
Oh, yeah, he's dead man walking.
Oh, he is absolutely dead man walking in football terms. I'm going to be interested to see when a new manager comes in there, right? What do we do? I say we, football fans. What do we do if Amorim gets sacked. His next game is Chelsea, I believe, right? His next game, I think, is Chelsea.
Yeah, Saturday night.
And where is it at Stamford Bridge?
No, it's at Old Trafford.
Okay. Oh, well, it doesn't even matter at the moment where it is. Let's assume he loses to Chelsea and the United board pulled the plug. What do we do in 6 months' time if a new manager's gone into United and they're just still like this? What happens? Do they rip the whole thing apart, like with medical team, coaches, youth? What do they do?
I don't know. Like, part of you thinks they just need to stick with it and hope that it comes good. But you've got to get to a point where you sort of have to cut your losses on that and accept that this isn't coming good. And I think if it's not already at that point, in the next few weeks, it will be that point, because there's just no signs of improvement. I think, like you, Savva, I'm not one to be calling for managers to be sacked all the time or the first time something goes wrong. But you've got to get that balance right of just sheer blind faith based on nothing and realizing, actually, you know what, we made a mistake here. We thought this would work. It's not working. We need to change tactics. We need to change direction. Man United do not have the squad for a back three. So why did they appoint Ruben Amorim in the first place, knowing he's only going to play a back three? I just don't understand it. Don't have the players for the back three and haven't played a back three. So what are they doing?
Or if you don't have the squad for a back three, but you've got 200 million pounds to spend in a transfer window, surely what you do is go and buy the two wing backs needed to play in that formation.
Yep.
And the centre mid and the centre back needed to play in that formation.
Yeah, and do you know what they should have done? And a lot of Man United fans think that. I know Bruno Fernandes has been brilliant for them and has won them games single-handedly and obviously produces good numbers. It would have been far better for United in the long run to have taken that 100 million and told Bruno to go, because then they could have reinvested in the midfield and they potentially sorted themselves out. Bruno Fernandes, whilst being great for Man United and their best player, is also their biggest problem. Which might sound weird. Their best player is their biggest issue.
I agree. I think there's a formation they could play where Bruno Fernandes isn't the problem. But in this 3-4-3 variation that Amorim
he has to play as a 10. He has to play as one of those 10s. And he's not.
Right, absolutely. For me, Bruno Fernandes would be perfect, for example, at Spurs, playing in the 10 with a double pivot and Bruno Fernandes. Just using my club as an example.
Yeah.
I suppose for your club as well, you play that way as well. But in this variation of 3-4-3, he's almost playing as one of the two centre mids. And Bruno Fernandes is a talented guy, but he's not that guy. That's where you want Belieber.
He's not got the discipline to play that role.
Declan Rice, Caicedo, Fernandes, right? Paulinho for us. But look, let's move on from Man U. But listen, they're in trouble. They've got Chelsea next. Currently, they're sitting on 4 points from. No, they're not. Sorry, they are. They're sitting on 4 points from 4 games. 1 win, which is against Burnley,
which was a last-minute pen.
It's not looking good, and I think it's so worrying that Amorim is coming out and listen, he's dying on that hill, and he's going to die on that hill. Let's move to the next game. I want to talk about Newcastle versus Wolves. Interesting one. This Newcastle have got their striker. They've got 2, but one's immediately injured, Wissa. But Nick Voldemort has played, and I like him. I really like him, Charlie. He's very unorthodox. He is an enigma of a footballer, but I think he's going to be a good replacement for Isak in a different way. What do you make of him and Newcastle?
I mean, Newcastle, I think, finally feel like their season's starting now that they've got a striker in and now they've moved on from the Isak situation and whatnot. I think Voldemort is an interesting player. He's someone who done well at Stuttgart last season. He played in the Euro under-21s in the summer. Also, he played in the final against England. This is someone who's got loads of ability. He's a very unique player. You know, he's 6'5", 6'6", or whatever, but he's really good with the ball at his feet, and he scores all different types of goals. Have they overpaid for him? Yeah, of course they have. But you always knew that Newcastle were going to have to overpay for whatever striker they bought in eventually. Interestingly, though, he weren't in Stuttgart's squad for the Champions League last season. He wasn't in this. He wasn't named in their squad for that Champions League. I think it's going to be one where, obviously, it's great to score in your debut, great to get off to a goal-scoring chance. It is still going to take him time to get used to the Premier League, get used to Newcastle, get used to everything, really. He's still a young player, not with much top-flight experience, but I could see him being a real cult hero up in Newcastle, providing he hits the ground running. And I think it's a profile of striker that with Gordon, with Barnes and stuff, players out wide like that, Alanga, where they get balls into the box.
Whip the ball in.
Yeah, exactly. I think that could work quite well for them. So, yeah, Voltemade, I think lots of potential there. Obviously, they overpaid, but I think he could do well for them, providing they play to his strengths.
Yeah, I agree. He's one of those where, that old saying, he's got a good touch for a big man. You know what I mean?
He's like a Peter Crouch on steroids, basically.
He is absolutely. Be interesting to see how he does. I mean, obviously, people will judge him immediately, like, oh my God, he didn't get 30 goals in his first season. But I think you're right. Your first sentence, what you said, I absolutely agree with. I feel like Newcastle's season can now start.
Yeah.
And that was the whole shame of this whole Isak debacle, was that Newcastle couldn't really get going. Obviously, Wissa will give them a different dimension. Yeah. They've now got the option. They could play two up top with Voldemort being the one that brings Ivissa into play. But they've got, for me, I think Newcastle are going to be in that 5th, 6th place conversation. I do. I think that Tottenham and Newcastle will be the two teams battling it out for 5th or 6th. Yeah. And maybe if Aston Villa can sort themselves out, but we'll talk about them in a minute. Wolves, just quickly. The game was only 1-0, but how Newcastle didn't score more was beyond me. Wolves had an awful start last season and then got rid of O'Neill, and we were all praising Vitor Pereira, saying what a job he's done. They've lost Cunha, but no one else really, and they look shambolic again, Charlie. I'm worried for them.
Yeah, mate, I'm worried for them as well. I think the only thing that might save Wolves is that the 3 promoted sides, or just 3 sides in general, might be worse than them. That's the only thing that I think might save them. They lost Mateus Cunha. They've not replaced those goals. That's going to be a big issue. They lost Ait Nouri as well, who was a top player for them last season. And so I just don't see where Wolves are going to score enough goals to win them games and to get them points and to push them up the table. I don't think they'll go down, but mate, I could see them 15th, 16th, 17th. I think they're going to really struggle this year. They've got a lot of problems. They've really got Strand Larsen, who I think is a good player. But other than that, I'm looking at that Wolves team and I'm not seeing much.
I mean, they've scored 2 goals and conceded 9 in the first 4. And part of me goes, well, if this continues, he's going to get the sack. But if this is a recurring theme every year that they're going to start poorly and sack a manager and then save themselves, you have to ask the question of, are they buying good enough players? Because for me, I look at some of their squad and I think there's no way they should be 4 from 4. There's no way they should have lost 4 from 4. They've got some good players, Andre and Gomez and Strand Larsen. They've got some good players.
But the problem is, though, the quality they've lost, Cunha and Ait Nouri, they've not replaced it.
True.
Cunha got a lot of goals for them last season. And those goals have not really been replaced. And so, you're always going to struggle. I always look at a Wolves, maybe like a Southampton, where they lose their best players every summer, and that eventually will catch up with you. Wolves aren't like a Brighton, where they've got that scouting network where they can sell 1 or 2 of their best players every summer, but they've got a conveyor belt coming in, and they always seem to be all right. Eventually, it will catch up with Wolves, I think, and it just depends. Can one of the promoted teams be better than Wolves? And I think the possibility they could be. So I agree with you. I think Wolves are banging trouble this year.
Yeah, they're in trouble. Listen, I don't think they'll go down, but listen, the longer you go without getting that first win, the more
Who have they got this weekend?
Great question. Let's have a look. So Wolverhampton Wanderers are playing. Where are we? Here we go. Premier League fixtures. So round 5, Wolves are at home to Leeds. Oh,
that's a massive game. That's a huge game. Because if they win that, then you've got your season up and running a little bit. If they lose against Leeds on the weekend, that's big problems.
And do you know their game after that?
What's it? Us? No,
in the league.
Arsenal.
It's Tottenham at Tottenham.
Yeah, they're in big problems. If they lose to Leeds, they're genuinely looking at going at 0 for 6, which is mental.
That's a tough one. That's a tough one. But anyway, yeah, listen, gonna be very interesting to see what happens with those two clubs. The next game, before we get to your game, and the next game we're talking about is Everton versus Villa. Two clubs that have started very differently. Everton have started strongly. They're currently in 6th. They lost the first game, but for me, which was a really dodgy penalty in the last minute against Leeds.
Yeah.
Other than that, they've looked good. I've watched their games. I think they've looked good. Jack Grealish looks like a man reborn. And let's be fair, David Moyes is a good manager. Yeah. He might not be everyone's cup of tea, but he's a good professional manager, isn't he?
Mate, I really like what's going on at Everton at the moment. They're into the new stadium now. David Moyes is a great manager, knows that football club inside out, and they've bought some exciting players, Savva. Getting Jack Grealish is absolutely massive for them. I think Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall is a brilliant signing for him. He's done really well already going there. Iliman and Dye on the other side, exciting player, really good. Beto scores goals. That Barry they spent money on is an exciting prospect at centre forward as well. Defensively, they're pretty sound. The goalkeeper's good. Mate, there's a lot to like about Everton. I tip them as one of the dark horses to maybe squeeze into a European place. I don't mean Europa League. I mean just European in general. Maybe an outside chance at a Conference League or a top 7, top 8 finish. Mate, I really like Everton. Obviously, they had a lot of chance at the weekend. They couldn't get the breakthrough, but yeah, I think Everton are dark horses to do pretty well this season.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, isn't it? Listen, I've always been I'm not say a fan of Moyes. It's not like, oh my God, please bring him to Tottenham. But sometimes you get these managers that never get the credit they deserve, but they do a very good job wherever they go. And yes, we know he had that poison chalice of taking over from Fergie. We know he had that, but listen, he won a European trophy with West Ham. He done brilliantly with Everton before. He's doing brilliantly with Everton again. I just think they're doing well. But Aston Villa, Charlie, I mean, they've not won a game and they've not scored a goal in 4. And whilst I'll sit here and say they'll be all right, they're fine, they've got a very good squad, Emery's a great manager, that's a difficult start to bounce back from, isn't it? No wins in your first 4.
Was 1 point, isn't it? 2 points, 2 points.
Yeah, so Villa have won none, drawn 2, lost 2, scored none, let in 4.
Mate, Villa's a really strange one because they missed out on Champions League football on the last day of the season last season, whether they lost at Old Trafford somehow. The summer business, it felt a bit strange. It felt a bit strange, their summer business. They bought Evan Gesson from Lille. Good. I like him. Good player. Jadon Sancho on loan is a strange one. I don't know if you can get the best out of Jadon Sancho or not. Harvey Elliott's a very good signing. But
I don't even know what the best of Sancho is anymore. Like I genuinely don't know, mate. I don't know what he is.
Harvey Elliott is a good signing. Don't know why they made it so late in the window, though. I think he will offer them something different. I don't know, Savva. I just look at them. I think they're a bit short defensively. I don't know. Has Emery's system been worked out potentially? Do they have enough firepower up front? If I was Aston Villa, I probably would have sold Ollie Watkins this summer. I'll be honest. I think Watkins is a little bit on the way down. Personally, I would have maybe cashed in on Watkins and bought in someone a bit younger, someone maybe a bit hungrier. Villa will get themselves together, but no goals in the first 4 games and just 2 points. Well, that's really concerning.
Villa have got next? They're away at Sunderland.
That's a tough game.
They're away at Sunderland.
You'd expect them to get something out of that, but that's a really difficult game.
Well, listen, it's going to be very, very interesting. I don't think Unai should be. See, this is where I think we get silly.
No.
I genuinely don't think Aston Villa are going to find a better manager, to be honest. And listen, Unai Emery's a top manager who's done very well wherever he's been. What we can't do is fall into the trap of the first bad run somebody has. Bearing in mind,
they've got to go.
He's been there 3 years, and they've been doing that the whole time he's been there. Four bad results at the start of the season, and we're talking about, could he be in for the sack? I think we're in a slippery slope if we do that. But I want to talk about your boys. You were 2 minutes away from going top of the table, 1-0 down to Brentford. Then you pulled it back to 2-1 up, and then what happened? What happened to Chelsea? Talk to me.
Yeah, mate. I was there. We threw it away at the end. Didn't deal with a long throw in and got punished. First half we were shocking. Obviously, he made a few changes, international break, injuries and whatnot. First half performance was awful. Maresca don't normally make changes at halftime. He made 3 subs at halftime, so it was bad and what he felt about it. Reece James and Cucurella came on. Cole Palmer came on 10 minutes into the second half, and we obviously instantly looked better. We pressed higher up the pitch. We played with more intensity, and we got the rewards for that. We probably didn't do enough to deserve to win, but when you're 2-1 up with literally 2 minutes left, to throw it away is sickening. It feels like a loss. And look, people will get on to Garnacho. He didn't pick his man up at the back post. True, but we had 4 defenders around one Brentford player from that throw in, and he still won the flick on. So that's poor. So really, first half was terrible. Second half was better. But our game management in the final sort of 5-6 minutes was really disappointing.
Especially the fact that you could have gone top for the evening. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's early doors, and you are hanging on in the Champions League positions down there in 5th.
Yeah, we're still invincible as well.
Yeah, you've not lost. But I mean, I suppose they're the sort of games where, if Chelsea are going to be in I think you'll fall just short. But if you were to be in the title challenge, so to speak, I think they're the sort of games that a club like Chelsea have to be seeing out and scraping the win.
I absolutely agree. And that sort of 6-minute spell from us scoring to the end of the game, that's probably why we will fall just short, because we weren't able to see the game out. Brentford's a tough place to go in general. Yes, I know they're different now to what they were last season, but our record at Brentford's really poor. Since they got promoted, we've beaten Brentford once at their own stadium.
Wow. And that's 7 years now, isn't it? 7 seasons.
I don't know how long they've been up for. But basically, it's a number of years now, and we've not been able to win there. So, given international break, given the first half performances, given a few of the injury problems, I would have taken a point at halftime. I probably would have taken a point at full time. Before the game. But when you're that close, you just leave feeling so deflated. But it's only 4 games in. We're still unbeaten, and it's not panic stations or anything like that. It's just disappointing to throw it away at the end.
Of course. And you've got Man United next, so that'll be interesting. But just a quick word on Brentford.
We haven't won there, at Old Trafford since 2013.
Yeah, but this is Man United. This Man United now.
We say that every year. Mate, Man United last year was shit as well. Like, it doesn't matter how bad they are. We always struggle going there. So I can't go there with any confidence saying, we're definitely going to win that game. We should win that game. But our record there is atrocious. So you just don't know. But if it can't end, if he can't win there this season, we just never win in there.
Yeah, just one quick bit on Brentford before we go to the last couple of games. Obviously, Keith Andrews taking over from Frank. 7 years at the club. It was always going to be very different, but looks like they don't look bad. I know they lost. I think they got beaten heavily on game 1, but since then they don't look terrible. Do you worry about them? Do you think they're going to stay up?
No, I think they'll stay up. Like I think they'll be in and around. I think they'll finish sort of between 14th and 17th. I think they'll be mid to lower table. But I think they've got enough about them to stay up. I think they're a well-drilled side. They're well coached. They look like they've got ideas. I think Jordan Henderson will be very important for them this season from a leadership perspective and experience on the football pitch. They've got some good attacking players. Sharda, Igor Thiago, the big centre forward, looks good. Atara, I think, will be decent for them. Defensively, they're not bad. They've got a good goalkeeper in Kelleher. They won't be as good as they were last season. Of course they won't. But I think they're a team, they will struggle this season at times, but I don't see them going down. I think they've got too much quality to go down compared to the teams they're going to be competing against.
Yeah. Just a quick one on, I haven't seen the highlights of this game, so I can't really talk about it too much, but just a quick shout out to Iriola and Bournemouth.
Yeah.
They got absolutely ripped apart in this transfer window. And most of us were saying, God, this is going to be a real tough year for them. But what phenomenal scouting and phenomenal infrastructure they must have at that football club. They have just picked up where they left off. 3 wins from 4. Beaten Tottenham, beaten Brighton. You know, that they're a good team. And I'm going to be honest, I can't see Iriola being at Bournemouth for much longer. No disrespect to them, but
he won't be.
I think bigger clubs are going to come calling.
No, I think they absolutely will. And yeah, look, Bournemouth were decimated. Lost Zabani, lost Hoyson, lost Kirkes. They lost the goalkeeper. Kepa was obviously on loan there last season. They got Petrovic from Chelsea now, who's a good keeper. They've recruited really well. That Truffer at left back looks really good. The centre backs, good signings. Going forward, they've got goals in the team. Semenyo's a brilliant player. And Evanderson does a job at number 9. Yeah, they're just a really well-run club. They've got a brilliant coach and they recruit well. Whether you can get away with losing that many good players every season, I don't know.
Yeah.
But they'll be fine this season. I do agree with you. Iriola will be probably on the move at the end of the season. I think a bigger club will come in for him.
He reminds me of Poch when he was at Tottenham.
Yeah,
he reminds me of Poch when he was at Tottenham. I think he's a very good coach, and I think he's one of these managers where, because the system works so well, when he gets injuries and when he loses players, everyone else still knows what they're doing.
It's plug and play, isn't it?
Huh?
This is plug and play. Like, it doesn't matter who the players are. Everyone knows their role in the system, and the system and the team still works whether players are absent or not. That's how you know you've got a good coach and a well-coached side.
Yeah. And Foxy, you're right. You know your world football. That's what they will do. I think that Truffer as well at left back. You give him a couple of years, everyone will be raving about him, and then they'll be selling him for 50, 60 million, making a profit and going again. Just quickly, I know you've got a hard stop in 2 minutes. Liverpool. Liverpool. I've never been so... I mean, the words upset and angry aren't the words. I've never been so deflated watching a game to see what Hannibal did in the last minute, turning his back and putting his arm out. But that's why they're champions, right? They find a way.
You make your own luck at the end of the day, Savva. You know, I see a lot of people saying, "Oh, how do they keep getting away with it? How they're lucky, they're this and that. They've not played well this season. Maybe they haven't played well this season. They got 12. They got 12 points from 12.
100%.
You make your own luck at the end of the day. Whether it's sustainable to not play well over a course of a season and still win games, it probably isn't. But Liverpool will get much better. They got Isak to throw into this team. They'll gel. Those players will get to know each other. The system will evolve and whatnot. So you make your own luck at the end of the day. And when you've got the quality that they've got, they will score goals and they will get themselves out of difficult situations. And they're just a very good team, man. When you've got that individual quality, you can rely on moments to bail you out. And that's what we've seen on so far in the first 4 games.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what happened. And look, just very, very last thing. Leeds, I worry for Leeds. Fulham scoring. I mean, it was a spectacular goal, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I don't know where Leeds are scoring goals from. I feel like they're going to go straight back down, mate.
I think they've recruited well defensively and in midfield, but I mean, you speak to Joe, don't you? The Leeds fan,
Yeah,
you know him. Yeah. They've. I think they're good defensively, and I think they're decent in midfield. They've recruited well in those areas. The recruitment up front, I just look at it. Where are the goals in that team? Calvert-Lewin don't stay fit, not really a goal scorer. I just don't see any threat in the final third, and particularly as a promoted side. Yes, okay, it's important not to concede loads of goals, but there's nowhere near enough goals in that team. And I think they're in big trouble. That they should have signed more firepower in the summer.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Last thing I'll say on this is the only team that has scored less goals than Leeds is Aston Villa, who we know haven't scored a goal.
Yeah.
And so far, Leeds' one goal was from the penalty spot. So I genuinely don't know where they're going to get goals from. I keep hearing they're going to be a fortress at Ellen Road. I might be wrong, but I can't see that they're going to score goals. Listen, Charlie, I know you've got a hard stop, so I'm going to leave it there. Guys and girls, Charlie and I are going to be live every day, Monday to Friday, that is, on this channel. It's going to be called Football in 60, where we talk all things football. It could be the Premier League results. It could be Champions League results, Europa results, transfers, managerial sackings, whatever's happened in the world of football. So that will be starting from tomorrow. Charlie, thank you very much. If one of my mods would be so kind to put Charlie's link in the chat, please, for Blue Brother CFC. He's a great content creator and a really good guy as well. Charlie, I'll see you tomorrow at 3, but thank you very much.
No, it's a pleasure, mate. Looking forward to it. Big up to everyone in the chat, and thanks for having me on, Savva.
Absolutely. And you guys, but on the way out, smash that like button. You've been rubbish today. 115 likes. This is not where we're at.
Guys.
This is not where we've built Football Heritage TV to. Come on, guys. I'll see you lot at 6. Me and Perchy with our Monday What Are We Doing Here podcast, where we have a bit of a laugh and a bit of a joke. I'll see you all at 6. Take care. I'm gonna quickly redirect you somewhere. Where shall I redirect you? Who's live? Here we go. Who's live that I've got on my
redirect? Live now? There must be someone.
Who's live? So I'm not going to redirect you to TalkSport. I'm going to send you over to Troops. I'm going to send you over to Troops. When you get there, please say Savva Raid. I love Troops. Great content creator. See you later, everyone. Much love. Take care. And as always, I would say come on, you Spurs, but it's not a Spurs show, this. So as always, come on.
Football?
Football? I don't know. See you later, everyone. Take care. Bye-bye.